let go of some intel this past week. I believe it was Wednesday, during Wednesday's live, that Donald Trump has signed the United States into BRICS. Now, you may say, well, why would Donald Trump sign the United States into a foreign nation's currency system? Well, that's not what BRICS is. That's what the general public thinks BRICS is. But BRICS is Nasera. BRICS is Nasera Jacera. It's just a front. It's just like a facade that they put over the top of it. And they're calling it something else for now. And meanwhile, all these nations are getting ready. All these nations are hoarding their gold and their silver, and they're getting ready for a precious metals backed currency. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you have a retirement account, like a 401k or like an IRA, you give your money to a custodian. It could be Northwestern Mutual. It could be Charles Schwab. Could be Bank of America, could be a whole bunch of different companies that take, your money, as well as everybody else that works at your company, plus a bunch of other companies, and they pool that money. They put it all together in one big account, kind of like a hedge fund. And they take that money and they invest it. You know where they invest it primarily? The stock market. So you may, right now, chances are you do. It's a good 85 to 90% chance that your 401k or IRA is invested in the stock market. Is that where you want your retirement funds? If the answer is yes, ignore everything I'm saying. If the answer is no, you have a decision to make. Do you get it out of there while the writing's on the wall and you see what's happening? Or do you just let it ride and be like, the white hats are never going to, I'm just going to listen to what I hear on the news. Okay. It's fine. Listen to what you hear on the news. But could you afford it when it's $100 an ounce? Talking about silver. Could you afford gold when it's $5,000 an ounce? If you can, then don't worry about it. But if you can't and you want to get involved, the best thing that happened last week was silver stopped at 28 something an ounce and gold stopped at 24 something an ounce, 2,400 something an ounce. I thought it was going to hit 30, and come Monday morning, that shit would have flew. So you got yourself the weekend to make some appointments and get yourself in line. The calendar is very, very booked for both goldquiz.com and philsilver.com. But try to find an opening and get yourself on there. So what do we think? What do we think is going on with Israel and Iran? First of all, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to catch us up here a little bit on the news that you may have missed. Joe Biden recently, within the last couple months or so, made available to Iran something like $100 billion worth of assets, something like that. 100 billion, 100 million, who cares? It's a lot of money, right? In addition to that, he just recently gave them $6 billion. This is Joe Biden cooperating with Iran, and now Iran is going after Israel. There's the problem with that. Israel, remember Blinken went over to Iran and said, oh yeah, we're going to release all this stuff for you. Okay, the first thing that they did, they're firing at Israel. Now here's the problem with that. Israel is supposed to be an ally of the United States. So now you have Blinken and Biden, these two idiots, right, giving money and assets away to a country who's now attacking their ally. What's the United States do? Do we sit by and watch? What are you supposed to do at this point? The missiles are in the air. Biden said he wasn't addressing the nation tonight. What's the U.S. going to do? Doesn't matter. Weren't we told years ago that we were saving Israel for last? Shouldn't we be completely unsurprised that this type of thing is happening right now? Why wouldn't it be happening right now? I just revealed this past week that Donald Trump signed the United States into BRICS. Did I not? That is one of the last steps before Nasera Jacera gets revealed. You guys know that, right? There's not much left. If we were eating a piece of chicken and we're just nibbling at it for 4 years, we're down to the bone. There's not much meat left on the bone. There's a couple tendons that look like meat. They might be meat. They might not be. We got to bite them to find out and chew into them. If they're too chewy, spit it back out. But honestly, we're at the end of the rope. We've been at the end of the rope for a while. And I guess what aggravated people like me that are a little bit more in the know than the average person, what aggravated me is knowing we were at the end of the rope, but we couldn't get to the end of the rope. Like we're there, we're within reach of the end of the rope, but we're not actually doing anything, right? Now we're still at the end of the rope, but now we actually see things happening, right? Oh, wait. This one just said, my mods suck. So I'm just gonna mute him forever. That was fun. Yeah, we're at the end. So there's not much left to happen. We have Trump initiating BRICS. Now we have Iran going after Israel. The United States is going to have to do something, but you know what happens if the United States tries to defend Israel, right? Come on. Who gets involved? Tell me. You guys know. Who gets involved if the United States tries to defend Israel right now against Iran? And you should know this because I've talked about it just a couple months ago. What did I say? Who gets involved if the United States starts to defend Israel? Russia. Russia. Why? Because Russia and Iran are allies. So and Putin just said it. I thought I had this on Do Not Disturb. I do. That's weird. Russia. Putin just said it. Putin just recognized Iran as an ally. So now you have a situation where Iran, because of Biden and Blinken, send an attack to Israel, which is the United States ally, I guess, right? Or so they tell you, right? Then you have Russia saying, well, Iran's our ally. So now if the United States goes there, you know who else goes there? Russia. You think the United States wants to get involved with Russia and Putin? No. Now, secretly and behind the scenes, we know that Russia, the United States, and China are leading a global alliance against the cabal, against the deep state. So what you're seeing right now, let me just play this out for you. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know quite when this happened. Okay. I don't know if it was right after the election, shortly into Biden's term as fake president, or sometime recently. Truthfully, I don't know. I was never told. Okay. But what I do know is that this is what it is. Biden is no longer controlled by the cabal. He was for a short period of time, but he's not now. And as I mentioned many times before in this program, the cabal has very little power over anything. They don't have money because they're getting sucked dry from everything that they possibly could. Their central banking system is failing worldwide, not just in the United States. They are completely inebriated. Completely. You know how Biden walks around the stage and he doesn't know what he's doing ever? That's kind of how the cabal is right now. It's a really great metaphor to give you an idea of what the cabal is like. So somewhere along the line, the white hats got a hold of this president and the DOJ and the Department of State and everything else. The white hats are completely in control of all that now. And at some point, Trump and the alliance started pulling strings, big time political strings, like the ones to release assets to Iran. I firmly believe that that was a white hat operation. Let's give them money. Let's give them assets. Let's free up stuff for them with the promise that they go after who? Israel. Why Israel? Why would the white hats want Iran if they were going to be given any sort of money? Why would they want Iran to go after Israel? Because Israel is not the United States' ally. Israel is a playground for the cabal. It's the cabal's military in the Middle East. It's the cabal's everything. It's the cabal's government. It's like if you had to say, form a state or country and tell us that that state or country is completely run by the cabal. That's Israel. It's the headquarters of the cabal. Always has been. That's why Israel's always been such an ally to the United States. Look back at every cabal presidency that there's been, going all the way back to JFK, right? And you tell me that Israel has not been an ally of the United States. That's because every president since him, with the exception of Reagan and Trump, were cabal. So do you envision a scenario where this makes sense? White hats go in and be like, yeah, let's release some assets to Iran with the promise that if we do, they're going to go after Israel. And then we know that our military, the United States military, isn't going to do anything to defend Israel, because if they do, Russia gets involved, and then boom, World War III, right? So I don't see I'd see the United States issuing some strong statements such as, if these attacks don't cease against Israel, we are going to show military force. And then they're probably going to move some ships around in the Middle East, and there's going to be threats. Are they going to actually get involved? Absolutely not. No way. Because then Putin comes down, rears his forces, and then you're not fighting for Israel, you're fighting against Russia. The United States can't afford to do that right now. In any scenario, black hat, white hat, cabal, non-cabal, the United States doesn't have the money to get into a world war. They don't have the money. They don't have any money at all. Not only are the citizens broke, but the country's broke. The country of the United States that we live in, that most of us live in, that are in this live stream tonight, is teetering on bankruptcy. You know what happens if Russia decides to defend Israel? You know who else gets involved? China. You want to go to war with 1 billion Chinese? No, you don't. That's why Biden isn't going to say anything tonight. He's not even going to come on the news. He's not even going to say a word tonight. They called him off the beach, called him back to the White House. Now he's going to sleep. It's his bedtime anyway, 7:30 Eastern. So this is all just a setup. It's all exactly what we thought it was going to be. That's why my first reaction on Telegram earlier to my announcements channel was E-Bomb's World. So this is the Earth. It's chilling. Damn, what the sweet Earth, you say. Okay, so ruling out the ice caps melting, meteors becoming crashed into us, the ozone layer leaving us. We are definitely going to blow ourselves up. Okay. It's like E-Bomb predicted this back in the 90s. For the love of everything holy. Like, this is all, can't you see how scripted this is? Can't you see, like, this is, okay, and then you also have Kash Patel, right? Remember I said watch Kash Patel? I said that like 4 years ago. Remember that? Before anyone knew his name at all? I said, keep your eyes on this guy. His name's Kash Patel. You have Kash Patel going to Truth Social, right? And putting out a truth. This is like 3 or 4 days ago. And said, everybody, where is it? Let me find it. I shared it. I want to know exactly what he said. Hold on. I don't want to like read it roundabout. I want to read exactly what he said. Here you go. This was 2 days ago. Joe Biden, this is from Kash Patel on Truth Social. Joe Biden gave Iran over $6 billion. Remember that in the days to come. Did he know? Why would he say that? Why would Kash Patel, why would he now be bringing up $6 billion that Biden and Blinken gave to Iran 2 days before anyone knew that these rockets from Iran were going to fly to Israel? You can't see that this is all one big game? You can't see this is all one big script? I know what it seems like in the news. I know what it seems. I know it seems like it's doom and gloom, World War III, and then you're going to have all of these other broadcasters out there saying, "Oh, we're headed for World War III. We're headed for World War III, everybody. You better pack your shit. World War III is coming." No, it isn't. No, it's not coming. Is there going to be a threat of a World War III? Yeah. You're living through the threat right now. This is the threat. But is it going to develop into a World War III? I already see certain truthers saying, oh, you better, if your kids are 18 to 25, you better keep them at home because Biden's going to initiate a draft. No, he isn't. May he talk about it? Maybe. But you're watching a movie. Like, this is just... Don't get caught up in what you believe is the reality of events. Don't get caught up in that, because it's very easy to go on a certain Telegram channel or go on a certain website or URL and say, hey, this is what's happening. I don't know what Phil's talking about, but no, I've literally... Go back and find the live that I talked about Russia getting involved with Israel if the United States came in. Go back and find that live. I talked about it 2 or 3 months ago. Kash Patel gave you a warning on Truth Social that said, hey, remember Biden did that. And then what, 2 days later, they launch? How stupid is the launch anyway? Let's talk about the actual launch of the Iran missiles at Israel. Iran launches the missiles, right? And then puts out a public service announcement and says, hey, we launched the missiles. They are coming. Fire sheet. Right? Just like E-Bombs World. They launched the missiles. And then they put out a PSA that says, hey, we launched the missiles. To be there in 9 hours. What military does that? Are you kidding me? You're going to launch at a country? You're going to launch a major military operation at a country, and then you're going to put out a social media or a mainstream media broadcast that you did so, and that, by the way, you got 9 hours before they get there. When I say that out of my mouth, I feel like an idiot. I feel like an absolute idiot when I say the reality of what's happening. That's how idiotic this whole thing is. And I don't say idiotic like, oh, I hate it. Like it's idiotic. It's just idiotic that you think that what you see is actually happening. This is all a game. This is all a joke. This is all pre-planned, pre-scripted. And it's controlled by the white hats. And not just the white hats, but the World Alliance. Putin's got his hand on this. Xi's got his hand on this. Trump's got his hand on this. Who knows what side Netanyahu's on now? Who knows? Maybe he flipped. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. He might be in on the whole thing. He's probably on a beach somewhere in Israel watching the things go over his head. Be like, yeah, I know, but there's nothing in them. I don't know. Maybe they're going to show us actual drone strikes. Maybe they're going to show us actual bombings. How do we know where the bombings are? Are they actually going to be in Israel? How do you know? How would you know? You wouldn't. And that's the point. The point is that you literally can't believe anything that you see right now. You can't believe what's going on in Iran versus Israel. You can't believe the actual price of metals. The prices that we see are just fraudulent. Gold right now should be about $5,000 an ounce. I'm sorry, silver right now should be about $5,000 an ounce, with gold being about $10,000. Is it? No, it's suppressed. Why? Because the big bank cabal institutions have short squeezes on the metals market. I said this on Telegram the other day. I don't know how many of you seen it, so I'm going to repeat it again. For every $1, follow me here. For every $1 that the price of silver goes up. So right now it's 28 something. Let's say it goes to 29 something, up $1. Let me check that math. Yeah, 1. So $1. Every $1 that it goes up, Bank of America loses $800 million. Now look what's happened over the last 7 to 10 days. Silver's gone from 24 something to 29 something, right? A $5 difference in spot price. 5 times 800 million is $4 billion in 1 week. How do you take down the banking industry? You got it. That's how you do it. And guess what? When Bank of America fails, there's quite a few banks right behind them. Charles Schwab is one of them. Citibank is another one. There's going to be one bank that survives. One bank and one bank only. We only need one. And then we'll spurn off of that one. There's only going to be one. But you were looking at a major collapse of the banking industry. Major. Now, let me tell you what happens to your money if your bank fails. Let's say you have $10,000 in a savings account, some sort of CD in your bank, whatever. Let's say you have it in a lockbox in your local bank. Let's say your local bank is actually run by a Wells Fargo or by a Citibank or by a Bank of America. If that bank becomes insolvent, do you know what happens to your money? You lose it. You don't get it back. Read your customer agreement. Every one of the customer agreements say the same thing. If this bank becomes insolvent, we have the right to keep all of your possessions. You signed it. You did. If you have a bank account, you signed it. You already agreed to that. You told them, hey, if you guys go bankrupt and you lose everything because of bad decisions that you made or bad partners that you partner with, such as the cabal over the years, if you guys lose everything and I have my money with you, I lose everything too. It's okay. Here you go. Here's my signature. Take my money now, please. That's what you did. Do you not know that? Go read your banking information. Go read your banking agreement that you signed with your current bank. That is exactly what it says. Every one of them say the same thing. There's not a bank out there that will allow you to do business with them unless you sign that. Read the insolvency clause. Read what happens if your bank becomes insolvent. You lose everything. Forget about FDIC insurance. Forget about that because that doesn't apply to insolvency. Do you expect an election next week? No. I wish. No. So the process for that will be Supreme Court first. Announcement. And then special election probably within 2 weeks of that, maybe even a week. We're ready to vote. We don't need any debates. We don't need anything else. We could vote now. Especially knowing that there's fraud in the Oval Office right now. And therefore the rest of the State Department. Are you related to the Kennedys? I'm not going to answer that question right now. Was Speaker Johnson being blackmailed? Johnson's doing what he's told to do. I do agree that there's some confusion in Johnson's role right now, but it'll all come together. Don't you worry about that. Is Klaus Schwab dead? Yes, Klaus Schwab is dead. Will Canada join BRICS? I think everybody is going to participate in NESARA GESARA, and I think BRICS is just a front for those names. So NESARA GESARA is plotting itself out in the form of BRICS right now. So we call it BRICS, but in reality, it's NESARA GESARA. So I think worldwide, I think every country in the world is going to participate in GESARA. Why wouldn't they? So yes, the answer is Cape Middleton dead? Yeah, I believe Cape Middleton's dead. The circumstances for which I can't yet talk about, but I will talk about them when I'm able. Is the Lord Rothschild created country in 1948 known as Israel another cabal deception? If so, is there another land mass country known by another name which is really called Israel? That's a deep one, 98C. It's gonna be the last question for the night. I've referenced this before, and I've said that Israel, Egypt, And a lot of the land masses that are referred to in the Bible are actually not in the Middle East at all, but are in the United States. And what was created in 1948 by the Rothschild family is nothing but a holding area for the cabal, a playground, so to speak, for the cabal where they could show their military might and launder all their money and traffic all of their children and humans and whatever else they want to do. And they created that place in the Middle East and they called it Israel. But there is very startling evidence to show that Israel is not actually geographically where they say it is, and where it actually is right where we live. It's pretty scary when you think about all of the deception that we've been through. From Israel and the central banking system, flat earth, free energy. When you start putting it all together, you could actually get pretty depressed pretty quickly. But there's only one way to change it, and I'll leave you guys with that tonight. There's only one way to change it, and that way is to spread what we're talking about here. By the only way to stop what's been happening for the last couple hundred years is by people like us, people like me, sitting in front of this camera and this microphone and telling you all the things that I know of and hoping that you'll do the same to people that you know, whether it's family or friends or social media followers, sharing of a video, liking a video to help with the algorithm, whatever it may be. That's the only way to change it, because it's not ever going to change because you want it to. We need action. We need action in order to change the path that we've been forced down. We need more people to start eating the French toast and not settling for the crappy pancakes that are a day old. And that's people like you. And the more confidence you get, maybe the more money that you make, maybe that makes you confident. Maybe the more like-minded individuals you come across, like those on my Telegram channel, those in the Rumble chat, whatever it may be, maybe that makes you more confident. Maybe that gets you to stand up more and start speaking your mind and opening your mind and learning these things about how much deception we've actually been through for as long as we've been through it. That's how we do it. Love you guys. Have a good night.